Okay. We know that we've been talking about people who have been fighting for a cause, right? So we're going to read the story today called "The Story of Ruby Bridges" by Robert Coles. Okay, and this story, even though it's pictures and it looks like it might be like a cartoon, it's a real life story about a little girl who grew up in the South. Where do you think, just by looking at this picture, where do you think Ruby's going? Where does it look like she's walking into? Where's she going? Just make a guess. Richard.
School.
She's maybe going into school. Someone else want to make a different guess? Where else could she be going? Something, another, a whole bunch of steps. Where else could she be going? Kanasia?
Never mind, I forgot.
Johnny?
White school.
A white school? Okay, somebody else make a guess. Where could she be going? Cameron?
To a school where white children go and black is not allowed.
Okay, why do you think that? Because we haven't really discussed that, so how are you making that guess? Somebody else.
Oh.
He guessed that. Why would you guess that? That
Because it was white children in the back.
because there's white children in the back. All right. There's also something else back there too that may have allowed Cameron to think that. There's something else back there. What's back there? Palace.
A sign.
A sign. Can you read that sign out loud for us?
Keep this a white school.
Keep this a white school. So that might give us a clue about what this story is going to be about. Okay. So we're going to read this story. And it says keep this a white school. So who said that she was going to a school?
Me. Johnny. No, Richard.
Richard. So she probably is going into a school, and it says keep this a white school. So maybe he was right. Cameron was right. Maybe she's the only black child going to the school. So we're gonna figure out how she's gonna be fighting for a cause. Okay. Ruby Bridges was born in a small cabin near Tylertown, Mississippi. We were very poor, very, very poor, Ruby said. My daddy worked picking crops. We just barely got by. There were times when we didn't have much to eat. The people who owned the land were bringing in machines to pick the crops. So my daddy lost his job, and that's when we had to move. I remember us leaving. I was 4, I think. How do you think Ruby felt, or her father felt? Hold on a minute. It says the people on her father, the way he was making money is that he was picking crops. And what are crops? First of all, what are crops? What are crops? Elia? Types of food. So her dad's job was kind of to pick maybe corn or tomatoes or potatoes or what have you. Then there were big machines that came. And they started to do that job. So her father, he lost his job because the machines were doing it. How do you think he felt? He's lost his job basically to a machine. How do you think he felt? Could you imagine? I'm not even going to tell you. How would you think he felt to have lost his job to a machine? Winston?
Maybe he felt like, embarrassment.
Maybe embarrassed that he had to lose his job to a machine? Someone else? How would he feel?
Stand up to try.
And he didn't try to stand up to fight and say, no, I really want my job. Okay, that's good. It's good. Ayende? Disappointed? Why would he feel disappointed?
Because he probably got that job and he really wanted it and wanted it. And he got it. Finally, he got it, but a machine did. He got the big old machine and the machine took his job.
Okay, so he was disappointed. Like, dang, I worked really hard to get this job. Now a machine took over. So disappointed. So this Ruby and her family, they had to leave. Okay, and she was about 4 years old when they had to move. In 1957, the family moved to New Orleans. Ruby's father became a janitor. Her mother took care of the children during the day. After they were tucked in bed, Ruby's mother went to work scrubbing floors in a bank. Every Sunday, the family went to church. We wanted our children to be near God's Spirit, Ruby's mother said. We wanted them to start feeling close to Him from the very start. Okay. At that time, Black children and white children went to separate schools in New Orleans. The black children were not able to receive the same education as the white children. It wasn't fair, and it was against the nation's law. Someone tell me, what is it called when black children and white children go to different schools? Remember that word? They go to different schools. What's that called? Cameron?
Segregation.
Segregation. Excellent. When they go to different schools and their black kids can't go with white kids, called segregation. But segregation was against the law. So, in 1960, a judge ordered 4 black girls to go to 2 white elementary schools. 3 of the girls were sent to McDonough 19. 6-year-old Ruby Bridges was sent to 1st grade in the William France Elementary School. Now, we know this is about fighting for a cause. Can a 6-year-old little girl fight for a cause? A 6-year-old? And not too long ago, you guys were 6. How can a 6-year-old fight for something? Isaiah? Want to come back? Okay. How could a 6-year-old fight for something? Winston.
Maybe she can, like, when she's in church, she heard something that God, like Jesus did, is so great. Maybe she can try to stand up and
Maybe with the help of God, is that what you're saying? She's gonna learn how to stand up with maybe God's help? Okay. All right. Richard?
how can a 6-year-old fight for a cause? She can tell the judge that we have a same school as a white and black children.
So maybe she could tell the judge that, even though she might be kind of scared? All right, well, let's figure out what Ruby does. Ruby's parents were proud that their daughter had been chosen to take part in an important event in American history. They went to church. We sat there and prayed to God, Ruby's mother said, that we all be strong and we have courage and we get through any trouble. And Ruby would be a good girl and she'd hold up her head high and be a credit to her own people and a credit to the American people. We prayed long and we prayed hard. Okay? There was a word in here that was mentioned twice. We'll come back to it. But that word was credit. We're going to figure out what that word credit meant. I'll read that one more time because we're going to come back to that word. It says that Ruby would be a good girl and she'd hold her head up high and be a credit to her own people and a credit to all the American people. We prayed long and we prayed hard. So we'll find out what that word credit has to do with Ruby.